The Denver Broncos made a big trade for offensive-centric head coach Sean Payton. This was a massive trade, as I don't believe in my lifetime I've ever seen a head coach traded for draft capital. If you recall the last time this has happened, drop it in the comments. This trade ended up being the Broncos receiving Sean Payton in the Saints 2024 third-round pick in exchange for the Saints receiving the number 29 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft and the Broncos' 2024 second-round pick. Before getting into who I think won this deal, let me first preface this with I understand the reasoning behind both sides of this trade. Not that I agree with the compensation that was given, but I understand the logic behind the idea of the trade. For the Broncos, they're tethered to Russell Wilson for the next 3 years at minimum. In the year 2026, the Broncos will have the option to cut bait with him, but this would require them to eat a $31 million dead cap, which is beyond far-fetched to me, but it's a possibility. In 2027, that number drops just shy of 13 million, and finally in 2028 that number drops to a much more reasonable $4 million. With that being said, they're stuck with him whether he is able to return to his old form or not because of fiscal reasons. As for the Saints, this is a huge win. The Saints just received a first-round pick and a second-round pick for a coach that told him that he is done coaching in New Orleans. Sean Payton was never going to coach another game for the Saints, whether they traded him or not. To receive a first and a second-round pick in this situation is incredible. Now, moving forward for the Broncos, I look for Sean Payton to begin filling out his staff immediately, starting with his offensive coordinator position. Joe Brady, the current Buffalo Bills quarterbacks coach, is the perfect fit. They spent time together in New Orleans before Brady left for other opportunities. Brady has already interviewed with other teams to fill their offensive coordinator vacancies, but with Payton and Brady's connection, I think a reunion here makes too much sense. Now I want to kind of touch on Sean Payton's system and what Broncos fans can expect to see offensively from their new look offense. Let me first explain a bit of Sean Payton's history and tendencies, then we will get into some Broncos tape and see how their personnel will fit with the system that Payton likes to run. Sean Payton is a Bill Walsh disciple and runs a West Coast style offense. The West Coast style offense runs a lot of 11 personnel, which is one tight end and one running back. The West Coast offense tries to utilize every inch of the field both vertically and, more importantly, horizontally. The West Coast scheme uses a lot of short, high percentage completions to open up plays in the run game. When this is done, defenses typically adjust, bringing their front seven closer to the line of scrimmage to defend the short pass and the run game. This then allows for the offense to call well-timed deep shots for big plays. But again, this offense is centered around short, high percentage passes and run plays. In order for this offense to work, you need a quick processing quarterback, one that can get to the back of his drop, plant that back foot, and already have decided where the ball needs to go. For these reasons, the offense doesn't really rely on offensive star weapons. You don't need a Devontae Adams or a Julio Jones to make this offense click. Rather, you need a bunch of different weapons offensively that fit different roles within the offense. The Broncos are actually set up really well for this. They have a big body who wins in contested catch situations with Courtland Sutton. They have a route-running savant in Jerry Jeudy, a mismatched tight end in Greg Dulcich, and a strong run game when Javonte Williams is healthy. Along with that, they have good depth with speedster KJ Hamler on the outside, along with a big-bodied Albert O as an alternate at tight end, and then the return of a healthy Tim Patrick. With this being said, I want to get into the 2022 tape a little bit and see what happened and how Payton might be able to fix it. The first two plays are simply bad decisions by Russell Wilson. On the first play, we have Courtland Sutton working this deep over. Wilson's going to see the safety stepped up to defend the late route by the tight end, and this defensive back carry over the top with Jerry Jeudy. He now thinks he has the over wide open. Wilson, however, completely misses this other dropping defensive back, throws a high ball over Courtland Sutton's head, and is intercepted. From the end zone angle, we see Wilson's eyes lock on Sutton and carry with him the entire way across the field. This was a poor decision by Russell Wilson and not the way you want to start a game. On the next play, again, it's a poor decision on Russell Wilson's behalf. He's going to be looking at his tight end here the whole way on this OTB route. Bobby Wagner is clearly in position to defend this, and Wilson throws the ball anyway, and it's an easy interception, setting the Rams up in scoring position again. The next play, Wilson's going to be targeting this dig route. He identifies the underneath defender, He identifies that he doesn't carry with the tight end and he stays in his zone. Wilson knows because of this he won't have Sutton on the first window, but he climbs the pocket, resets his feet, and gets it to Sutton in the second window for a nice gain, bouncing back from 2 turnovers. Watching from the end zone angle, we will better see his eyes locate the underneath defender, say no to the first window, climb the pocket, reset those feet, and say yes to that second window and get it to Sutton for a nice gain. The next play is one similar to the type of play calls that you'll see from play caller Sean Payton. As mentioned, we're in 11 personnel, which means 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 running back. Sutton is going to be running an out route here. Wilson gets the ball, quickly diagnoses that the defensive back's leverage is giving Sutton the sideline, and Wilson gets his ball out on time and in rhythm at the back of his 3-step drop. This is the essence of what West Coast style scheme is. It's 11 personnel, 3-step drops, quick processing, and getting the ball out at the back of your drop on time and in rhythm, throwing it to where your receiver is going to be with anticipation. From the end zone angle, we will see that Wilson has perfect timing here, and as I said, as soon as he gets to the back of that 3-step drop, he plants and rips this to Sutton on the sideline for a 10-yard gain. These types of plays are what to expect more of in a Sean Payton-led scheme. Similarly, on the next play, we have a 3-step quick pass play here. This time we're going to be targeting the big athletic tight end Greg Dulcich on the drag route. Wilson's feet go 1, 2, 3. He sees Dulcich clear Bobby Wagner's outside shoulder at the back of his drop. Wagner does not carry with him, and Wilson gets his ball out to Dulcich, and he picks up the first down. From the end zone angle, again, we will key in on Wilson's feet. You'll see he goes 1, 2, 3, quick to diagnose, and gets the ball out. Another good display of West Coast style scheme here. Same thing on the next play, this time to Jerry Jeudy on the outside. Wilson's feet are going to go 1, 2, 3, and he's going to rip this ball to Jeudy on this in route. Again, the ball is out on time and in rhythm for a gain of 10 plus yards. And again, I feel like a broken record here, but these are the types of play calling to expect from the new Broncos offense in 2023. Now that we've hammered home what kind of play calling the West Coast scheme really builds itself on, let's talk about what those short passes do for the offense. On the next play, Jerry Jeudy is going to be running a sluggo. What this means is Judy's going to be running a slant route, then cut it off and turn it upfield, converting it into a go route. When you as an offense run so many short, quick-hitting routes, naturally these DBs are going to play closer to the line of scrimmage to be in better position to make a break on the ball. On this play, the DB did just that. Jeudy cuts off his slant route, snaps it upfield, and turns it into a go route. He's wide open for a chunk gain. This is the type of play that is going to be set up by the repeated short pass and consistent run game by the new Broncos offense. An area of Russell Wilson's game that really took a step back in 2022 was his processing, which is something that is going to need to improve if he's going to succeed in the Sean Payton offense. On this play, he has a fade route and a corner to the outside. Wilson's going to stare down this fade route the whole way. And as you can see, Sutton is open on this comeback route. Sutton is actually going to get visibly frustrated and that he isn't going to get the ball here. And Wilson's going to force this ball to Dulcich on the fade, and it's going to be intercepted. As mentioned, the Sean Payton offense relies on sound, quick decision making. This is an area of Wilson's game he's going to need to improve on moving into 2023 if he wants to find success in the new offensive system. In the end, I do think the acquisition of Sean Payton is going to help Wilson bounce back from this last season. Payton is such a strong offensive mind who really forms the offense around the personnel he has, and I think he will succeed in doing this in Denver. With that being said, I was not a fan of the compensation that was given up, but that's just my opinion. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. Until next time, that's all for this one. Peace.